Um, sometimes a claim just like explodes across the internet,
Hmm.
promising some kind of smoking gun or major scandal.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like everyone's just waiting for that big reveal, right?
Exactly. Well, recently, that kind of buzz has been building around New York Attorney General Letitia James, and it's being fueled by some vocal Trump allies.
Right. We've been looking at excerpts from a YouTube video transcript by The Ring of Fire, and it details claims made by Roger Stone and Laura Loomer.
Okay.
And the core of these allegations is quite striking. They're suggesting Letitia James herself inflated her property values to get loans.
Wait, so the exact same accusation that was central to the case against Donald Trump?
Precisely. That's the claim. That Letitia James essentially did what she accused Trump of doing.
Wow. And according to this Ring of Fire transcript, the people really pushing this narrative are Roger Stone and Laura Loomer.
Yes, those are the two names mentioned. And that really sets the stage for what we want to do in this deep dive. We're not taking sides here, obviously. But we do want to dig into these claims based purely on what this transcript actually presents. Like, what evidence, if any, do Stone and Loomer offer, according to this source?
Makes sense. Let's unpack it. Where should we start? Roger Stone.
Yeah, let's start with Roger Stone's accusations.
Okay, so the transcript outlines how Stone reportedly took to social media, and apparently this got some traction with Trump, stating that a, quote, careful examination of Letitia James's financial disclosures supposedly proves she inflated her asset values to secure mortgages on commercial properties.
A direct echo of the Trump case, as you said.
Exactly.
But what's immediately interesting here is the counter-analysis in the YouTube transcript itself. The speaker makes a really fundamental point about what financial disclosure forms are actually, designed to show.
Right. What do they show, typically?
Well, typically, as the transcript explains, these forms list things like investments, maybe real estate holdings you own, and any outstanding mortgages against those properties.
Okay, so assets and debts,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. So the crucial distinction, as the transcript really emphasizes, is that a financial disclosure form wouldn't normally reveal the specific declared property value that was presented to a bank when applying for a loan.
Ah, I see.
As the source puts it very clearly, you can't tell that from a financial disclosure form. It's just not the document where you'd find evidence of someone potentially, misrepresenting an asset's value to a lender.
So the form might show she has a mortgage, but not the property value she claimed to get it.
Exactly. And this is where Stone's claim, as reported in the transcript, starts to look, well, questionable if these forms don't contain the information needed to verify his accusation.
Then what's the careful examination based on?
Right. What exactly is he basing this on? The transcript certainly expresses a strong degree of skepticism. It highlights the complete absence of any supporting evidence or specific details supposedly pulled from these financial disclosures.
So it sounds like the transcript is essentially saying there's a big gap between the accusation Stone is making and any actual proof being offered, at least based on what's described here.
That seems to be the core point, yes. A claim without the supporting data based on the document type cited.
Okay, now let's shift our focus to Laura Loomer. Her approach from the transcript's account seems to take a slightly different tack, doesn't it?
Yes, slightly different. Laura Loomer reportedly asserts that she's in possession of very damaging receipts concerning Letitia James.
Receipts, okay.
She even claims to have more than what she had apparently posted previously, which the transcript mentions was shared by POTUS, likely a typo, maybe referring to POTUS or some platform, unclear. Anyway, Loomer goes on to say these receipts could inflict massive damage if they were to fall into the hands of very powerful people.
Very powerful people. That sounds dramatic.
It does. And then, according to the transcript, comes this rather unusual move. Instead of immediately releasing these alleged bombshell receipts to the public, Loomer reportedly makes this specific request. Those powerful people have my number, they should call me.
Huh. That's odd. Why not just release them?
Well, that's the critical question, isn't it? And it's one the YouTube transcript astutely points out. If Loomer truly believes she has concrete evidence of illegal activity, why not just make it public?
Yeah, I mean,
The source reminds us of the numerous platforms available for immediate dissemination: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, her own website, whatever. It's the direct route to getting information out there.
it definitely raises that question of motive, you know?
Yeah.
If you have something you think shows serious wrongdoing, why the indirect approach? Why wait for a call?
Exactly. The transcript's analysis suggests that the logical course of action, if this evidence were substantial and genuine, would be to either release it widely.
For everyone to see? Journalists? maybe law enforcement.
Right, or to directly contact the relevant authorities with the information. Waiting for a call from unnamed powerful people seems like an unnecessary and somewhat theatrical step.
Yeah, theatrical feels like the right word.
And the reasoning in the transcript is pretty persuasive here. If the primary goal is really to expose wrongdoing and ensure accountability, making credible evidence public is generally the most efficient and impactful way to achieve that.
So the delay.
The delay and the sort of call for intermediaries inevitably create questions about the strength and the actual nature of these so-called receipts.
Okay, so taking a step back then and looking at the bigger picture based on this Ring of Fire transcript, what's the overall assessment? How does the source view these claims from Stone and Loomer?
Well, the prevailing view within the source material is definitely one of significant skepticism.
Okay.
The transcript consistently highlights the lack of verifiable evidence presented by either individual. It just keeps coming back to that.
So for Roger Stone, it's the claim based on a document type that doesn't seem to support it.
Correct. The accusation seems built on a misunderstanding or perhaps a misrepresentation of what financial disclosure forms actually reveal, with no actual proof of inflated property values being presented in the source.
And for Loomer, it's this promise of damaging evidence, but combined with this kind of unconventional request for powerful figures to reach out instead of just sharing the info.
Exactly that. And it's important to note, as the speaker in the transcript does, that this isn't about, defending Letitia James personally.
Right, the source makes that clear.
Yeah. The principle of holding anyone accountable under the law, regardless of their political affiliations, is fundamental. The core issue here, as the transcript emphasizes again and again, is the critical difference between claiming to have evidence
And actually presenting that evidence for public and official scrutiny. Big difference.
Huge difference. So the conclusion drawn in the transcript seems to be that if Stone and Loomer possessed genuine, impactful evidence of criminal wrongdoing by Letitia James, the most logical thing, the expected thing, would have been to share it publicly.
Through all those channels you mentioned.
Exactly. The fact that they haven't, at least according to the source, raises serious doubts about the substance of their claims.
The skepticism really hinges on that point, doesn't it? The expected behavior versus what's actually happening.
Precisely. The indirect approach and the delay create a significant gap between the gravity of the accusations being made and the concrete proof needed to actually substantiate them.
So yeah, you can really see how, even with these bold public claims making waves, by digging into the specifics of what's being presented, or, like in this case, what isn't, and analyzing the logic, we start to get a much clearer picture.
And this leads to a really important question, I think, for you, the listener, to consider. In today's information environment, what does it tell us when serious accusations are leveled without the immediate release of supporting evidence?
Yeah, what are the possible motivations behind tactics like that?
Right. Is it always about genuinely uncovering wrongdoing? Or could there be other factors at play, political strategy maybe, or something else that influence how information is shared or, not shared?
It's a good question. This deep dive really serves as a reminder, doesn't it? That engaging with information critically, always looking for those verifiable details.
Yeah, the actual proof.
And questioning the underlying why behind the claims we encounter is just absolutely essential for navigating the complex narratives of our time.
Definitely. Just because a claim is made loudly or with conviction, it doesn't automatically make it true. And often, maybe it's the absence of readily available proof that speaks the loudest.